name's Laura Zizzo. I'm a climate change lawyer with a sole practice in Toronto. I graduated in 2004 from Waterloo with a degree in Environment and Resource Studies and an option in International Studies from the Faculty of Environment. Right now I practice environmental law and climate change law. I do a lot of that work that's on the border between law and consulting. But it's really interesting stuff with environmental regulation, climate change, policy coming down the pipe, renewable energy work. So it's really bringing a lot of the nuts and bolts of environmental issues where the rubber hits the road. To the best of my knowledge, there's no other law firms that are specifically only practicing climate change law. So I think I may be one of the first law firms that's focusing specifically on climate change law and trying to define what that practice looks like going forward. And being a sole practitioner, I can be a lot more free to chart my own course and explore, doing more consulting work versus strict traditional legal work. Even from my first year at ERS at Waterloo, I was really intrigued by the law and how the law would be used to address environmental issues. And when I learned about, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms and maybe using Section 7 to address environmental issues and what would that look like, and should a right to a clean environment be an environmental right, those types of, or be a right that's entrenched in our charter, those types of questions really intrigued me. So I started thinking about that and realizing I was pretty analytical. So the experience at Waterloo really helped me decide that I wanted to be a lawyer. And I started taking some of the environmental law courses that were offered at Waterloo and really realized, I like this. I like doing the research and doing all these different aspects of trying to think about environmental issues in a pragmatic way. And I thought that the law was the way that we could make the biggest changes. A lot of people in my year back then, there's a lot of people who really had that activist hat on, there's definitely a place for that. But I thought that some of the changes that I wanted to be part of would happen more in the business world. That's why I decided to go to a law school that was kind of business law focused instead of the traditional environmental law focused law schools. And then that's why I went on an article at a business law firm where I could really have clients who were in the, that were big corporate clients and try to help them understand environmental compliance issues and how to comply with the law and actually go beyond compliance. Yeah, I highly recommend people who are interested in law to think about Waterloo. The interdisciplinary nature of the degrees at the Faculty of Environment are really great for preparing you for law school. The impetus behind me branching out was a desire to do something about climate change. It's 2009. Climate change is a real issue. We need to do something about it. I thought of my life and the fact that I'm 28 now. In 2050, I'm going to be 68. What can I do during that time? And I thought my efforts weren't being best spent in an environment where I couldn't have the freedom to do interesting projects that may not, satisfy billable targets and that type of thing, and really try to do something different and work a little differently. Yeah, so we're 4 months into this new firm, and it's actually going really well, surprisingly. I gave myself, a 6-month time horizon to even get it off the ground, and I'm happy to report that we have clients, and we have won a couple bids to provide consulting and legal services for a few clients. So it's going well, and it's taking me into unexpected directions. We're doing a lot more work on renewable energy than I anticipated would be the case when I first started. But renewable energy in Ontario right now is really going strong with the new Green Energy Act, so there's some work around the new feed-in tariffs and the Green Energy Act that we've been exploring. First of all, I would congratulate students at Waterloo for choosing to study there in an interdisciplinary manner, and you might find some resistance from folks saying, what are you actually doing? What are you going to do with that job? But I think my advice would be to be opportunistic, but also to really try to have a plan in place as to what you want to do with your life and follow your interests, not just what would pragmatically make sense for you to do. I would say explore your passions while you're in school, because it's such an opportunity to take a diverse range of courses. If you really want to learn about Buddhism, you should take a course on Buddhism. You should take those courses while you're in university and not be focused solely on getting a job when you get out. But then you have to also, I think students today should have sort of a long-term goal. and think about what could be some jobs. It could be a suite of jobs, everything from, you know, doing graduate studies, being a professor, being a lawyer, being a doctor, doing whatever, but at least think about what that would look like for you. I would, you know, it's hard to make the decision to be independent because you don't know where the next paycheck is coming from. So it's not for everyone. You have to have a certain amount of risk tolerance to do what I'm doing, and I often wonder if it was the right decision. But I'm hopeful that, you know, this is an expanding circle, and there's going to be a lot of opportunity for young folks in this field that really, we've been studying this for longer than most people who have been working in different areas of the law and business for, you know, 20, 30 years. We have to be confident in our knowledge even as young people and say, yeah, we can do this, and we can chart a course for Canada that's going in the right direction dealing with climate change. So I would just encourage students to follow their passion, look for opportunities, and try to do what they can to move a climate change action forward in Canada. And it might be in areas that you didn't expect it. If you want to find out more about what I'm doing, you can check out my website and blog at www.zizzoclimate.com.